For 40 years, a retired teacher chased his father's stories. Not to prove them true, to prove where they weren't. He found the 10% again and again, a wrong county, a softened legend, a name spelled the way a tired clerk once heard it. And he made his peace with the number, 90%. Because there was one place, the records simply stopped. Early 1800s. A wall of paper that ended in nothing. 40 years of a professional skill and one door that would not open. He handed us a single name and a date. His father. And he asked us for the last 10%. The records were there the whole time. They were hidden behind 3 tricks, and you had to beat all 3 at once. First, the name. Somewhere back in Tennessee, a clerk wrote the family down not as Hudson, but as Hudson. Indexed that way, they vanished from every search that spelled it right. Second, the place. The family were remembered in West Tennessee, where they later lived. But the origin generation was 200 miles east, in Rutherford County, Middle Tennessee, where no one was looking. And third, the origin itself wasn't in Tennessee at all. The way through was money. A guardianship settlement paid in 1855 to the orphaned children of Enoch Hudson, $73.65, from the estate of a man in Culpeper County, Virginia. Follow the money and the wall falls. It leads out of Tennessee and home to Virginia. Between that wall and Virginia stand 5 generations the record proves, one link at a time. 2 of them, George's father talked about most, John Henry Hudson. The family said he was a captain who had his horse shot out from under him 5 times. The record tells a quieter, better story. He was a private, Company K, 12th Tennessee Infantry, and his own commander pulled him off the firing line because of what his hands could do, a gunmaker. His widow swore it in her pension file, and the census's backer. In peacetime, his trade was a gin writer, a builder of machines. The Army needed that more than another rifle in the line. The captaincy is family legend. The gunmaker is documented, and he is the better man. Go back further, and the family crosses the country's founding from the other direction. David Hudson, corporal of the Culpeper Militia in the Revolution. A recognized patriot of the American Revolution. As George put it in his own words, his family was on both sides of the Revolutionary War and both sides of the Civil War. A good genealogist, he said, finds what they find, and that is what you record. So we record this too. David Hudson's estate in 1793 held 5 enslaved people. The record names them James, Fanny, Ray, Peter, Nancy. George asks us not to look away from it, and we don't. Their names are here on purpose because they are part of this family's history, and because somewhere they have descendants of their own, still looking. Years before we found any of this, George took a drive. Up the Potomac, past Mount Vernon, following a hunch of his father's that somewhere back at the beginning, the Hudsons and the Washingtons had been neighbors. He found an old county library in Westmoreland, Virginia. He walked in and asked for land records, 1650. The clerk didn't blink. She said, Book 1, downstairs. And in Book 1, George found a Hudson buying land in Westmoreland near where George Washington's own family began. The courthouse he walked into is where Joshua Hudson's will from 1704 is recorded. The Hudsons lived in Washington Parish, Westmoreland. And in 1749, a 17-year-old named George Washington was appointed a county surveyor right when David Hudson first appears inland, in Culpeper, on the land Washington helped map. His father's stories were still running 90%. On the 8th of July, George and Tyler sat down at a family history center and opened an original Westmoreland deed book from the 1660s, the kind of page that was filmed decades ago and never indexed, waiting in the dark for someone to read it. And there, in Francis Gray's own deed, was the family written into the land itself. First, a father-in-law's gift, Gray gave a parcel of his own patent to William Rush, Anne Gray's husband, the gift that ties the family together. And then, the very next boundary line named the neighbor, Major John Washington. George Washington's own immigrant great-grandfather on the land next door in the 1660s. Not a legend anymore. A boundary line. George's family and the Washingtons, neighbors, 2 full generations deeper than his father's story ever reached. And days later, the arrival itself. An original patent page from 1656, naming the family as they stepped ashore. Anne Gray, George's grandmother, 11 generations back, in a line of 1656 ink. And there is one more thread the record offers. John Hudson, buying land on Pope's Creek, Washington's home ground, the very place where George Washington himself would one day be born. Every online tree gives Joshua Hudson the same father, a man named Edward Hudson. And every online tree is wrong. Edward Hudson died in 1623, 29 years before Joshua was even born. It is impossible. The software flagged it. Thousands of families copied it anyway. Nobody fixed it for 400 years. We found Joshua's real father where almost no one looks, in a proprietary land grant in the Yes Cheat recital, in the original hand, John Hudson. The documented top of the line, a name no tree had, recovered from a record no one had read. And George's family didn't just find their truth. They corrected the world's tree with the document attached. Above John Hudson, the trail runs on, but the ground changes. The records point, almost certainly, to a teenage servant stepping off a ship onto that same neck of land around 1650. His name is on the passenger list, but the proof of it lives behind a physical door, order books in a Virginia courthouse, English parish chests, pages that may no longer exist at all. For most families, that is where the story ends. A locked door and a wall you cannot climb. But this family has a key that no fire ever touched. George carries an unbroken line, father to son, all the way back to John Hudson. Which means, in a real sense, John Hudson's own signature is still being written in George's blood. The test is already taken. The match is next. 40 years ago, a young teacher set out to find the 10% his father got wrong. He found something his father never dreamed of. The chase isn't over, but